The X-Men, one of the most elite groups of mutants ever to walk the Earth. Several of the well-known ones are Wolverine, Knight Strider, and Deadpool. Today we will be analyzing one of the more iconic X-Men, Cyclops. Created by writers Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, Cyclops was envisioned as a clean-cut and by-the-book hero, often due to the simplicity of his power, which is shooting beams that causes force through his eyes. Dubbed optic beams, this simplicity sadly leads to him often being shuffled off to the side in favor of Wolverine. Now, you may be wondering, what is so interesting about Cyclops? The answer lies in his iconic visor. With it, he can control the amount of power in his optic beams, changing them to be as thin as a penny or as wide as a building. It can strengthen or weaken the blast of will. Cyclops' proficiency with his armament has been the tipping point for difficult battles throughout his heroic career. As such, we will be scientifically analyzing Cyclops and his ruby visor to see how it would work in real life. As such, let's get to it.
Within the Marvel Comics, Cyclops is commonly known to have a special ability called Optic Blast, which is used through metabolized sunlight as well as the energy surrounding him. A Cyclops' eyes essentially act like solar batteries. They absorb energy from moonlight as well as the sun and store it for later use. The Cyclops uses this ability similarly to how a plant uses photosynthesis to produce glucose. When chlorophyll absorbs light energy, an electron gains energy and becomes excited. It then gets transferred to another molecule called primary electron acceptor. Then the molecule becomes oxidized and loses an electron and gains a positive charge. Cyclops evidently is able to use these excited electrons to his advantage. The sudden extreme rise of kinetic energy creates heat, and Cyclops is able to transform them into lasers. The highly heated beams allow for Cyclops to shoot lasers similarly to the way plants photosynthesize and create excited electrons. The photoactivation of chlorophyll is the result in splitting water molecules and the transfer of energy to ATP, this ultimately leading to the reduction of NADP.
Cyclops is a mutant. He is a member of the mutant genome, Homo superior, and possesses the X gene or mutant gene positioned on the 23rd chromosome in the X-Men world. The X gene activation is via transcription and translation, and leads to the production of an exotic protein which produces chemical signals inducing mutations on other genes, ending up with mutant organisms that are variously empowered.
As we mentioned before, Cyclops shoots optic beams out of his eyes. These optic beams are made out of concussive force. This means they are not actually made out of matter, but instead are completely made up of energy. This energy comes from the sun. Cyclops metabolizes the solar energy that comes down to Earth in the form of rays. The solar energy is converted and stored as chemical energy in his body until it needs it to shoot his optic beams. This process is very similar to photosynthesis, as plants also convert solar energy into usable energy. He relies on the solar energy so much that once he even ran out of energy and couldn't use his superpower until he went outside and recharged in the sun. He relies on a visor to control when the beams are being shot out of his eyes. Without the visor, his eyes would be shooting out at all times. This visor is made out of a high-impact plastic with a coarse material as its lenses. Plastic's chemical equation is C2H4, and quartz's chemical equation is SiO2.
How Cyclops relates to computer science. When Cyclops shoots his kinetic beams through his visor, it's either on or off, with no charge up in between blasts. This is similar to how computers work through binary. Binary is the simplest code all computers and machines run on, and it consists solely of ones and zeros, or, in the case of Cyclops, on or off.
Cyclops weighs about 195 pounds and is about 6 feet 3 inches tall. He's an athlete, he's a very experienced hand-to-hand fighter, experienced battle tactician, and a great strategist. But he has some special limitations. Due to a brain injury, Cyclops is unable to shut off his optic blast at will and must therefore wear a visor or glasses with rubby quartz lenses that block the beams. Cyclops probably got a sports-related traumatic brain injury, which is a serious accident which may lead to a significant mortality. As it's called, traumatic brain injury, or more commonly known as TBI in sports, are usually a result of physical contact with another person or stationary object. In sports math, we learn about how or when a concussion happens and how to prevent a concussion in football players and in real life situations. Cyclops most likely had a concussion due to which he has this special limitation.
Alright, so as we know already, Cyclops is about as one-dimensional as they get. His beams supposedly use the power of gravitons to transfer kinetic energy. They are not lasers, and are not light in of itself, but do create friction, thus generating heat. Theoretically, his gravitons can break the Earth in two, and function by transferring kinetic energy through gravity. His most powerful beam on record was a massive blast that created a pressure of 500 pounds per square inch in a 4 foot by 4 foot square area, however. Of course, because this is his most powerful recorded beam, you can also calculate his practical maximum force, not just his theoretical. With 16 feet, that converts to a total of 2,304 square inches. Since pressure is equal to force divided by area, knowing that we have 500 pounds square inch of pressure over 2,304 square inches, we can multiply this out to get 1,152,000 pounds of force. However, since this is IB science, that thing we called imperial units doesn't exist, so we can convert it to 5,124.4 kilonewtons. This is a lot of numbers. So how does this compare to other things in the world? Well, compared to the F-135's turbofan engine's measly 191 kilonewtons, Cyclops is able to muster over 28 times that. This is enough to do a lot of damage, but is far from enough to actually destroy the planet. In addition, the theory upon which the nature of his beams themselves lie is flawed. Since gravitons behave similarly to a photon, it can be reasonably inferred, and is shown that they are both particles and wave, since they also spread out over a distance. So, what could be a wave equivalent to a graviton? Well, since graviton is a particle of gravity, we already have one, and not only that, we know its effects, and that is gravitational waves, thanks to the wonders of LEGO. Gravitational waves work their magic by distorting space-time itself, and to the casual onlooker it should appear that things are becoming distorted or spaghettified. Gravitons should attract objects towards them, so theoretically when Cyclops blasts someone, they should be either A, compacted and sucked towards a single point if they remain at that single point, or B, have their body parts and everything along the way get dragged out ad infinitum and beyond in one gory gravitational stream, or C, simply get torn apart by some extremely trippy distortions of space and turn into noodles.
So far we've learned how Cyclops utilizes solar energy to power his optic beams, just like how plants use photosynthesis, allowing him to vaporize large objects. We've also learned that the beams he shoots do not work in real life, as they would affect the area around him differently. We have learned how a childhood concussion permanently skewed his powers, reducing his ability to shut off the beams. Finally, we learned how he can exert powerful control over his beams by closing and opening his eyes, much like how a computer sees in binary. On the surface, Cyclops' sole power is nothing special to look at. It really is just laser ideas. When you dive deeper into the science surrounding him, you can see just how much thought Stan Lee and Jack Kirby put into him.